ready because when Kyle Rittenhouse is found not guilty, the Black Lives Matter and Antifa terrorists are going to be so upset they're probably going to return downtown to try to finish their mission of burning the city to the ground. Almost everything that's come out during the trial had already been known to those of us who followed this case from the night of the incident. We knew it that night or the very next day. And Kyle didn't travel across state lines. It's the community next door. His dad lives in Kenosha. He worked in Kenosha. He was there cleaning graffiti off of the high school because he's a Boy Scout earlier that day. He didn't come there with a mission to try to kill people. He went there to try to help render aid to the protesters. He did render aid to the protesters. If you've been watching my channel, if you saw my previous video, The Truth About Kyle Rittenhouse, I laid this all out over a year ago, but Facebook started censoring posts. Any video or post that literally showed Kyle Rittenhouse acted in self-defense was a violation of Facebook's terms of service. The night of the incident, we had the video showing Joseph Rosenbaum, the psychotic convicted pedophile, chasing down Kyle and trying to take his gun before getting shot, as well as the video showing the guy hitting him with the skateboard and Gage Grosskreutz coming up to him and pointing his gun at him before he got shot in the bicep. We already had all of the evidence. A guy in his kitchen and his laptop, or anybody who followed this case closely, had already put the pieces of the puzzle together that night or the very next day. But here's how the mainstream media portrayed what happened.
Kenosha shooter, Kyle Rittenhouse, he murdered 2 people, by the way.
Rittenhouse is basically what you would have had in a school shooter. He's a 17-year-old kid. He shouldn't have had a gun. He crossed state lines to supposedly protect property. No, he was going out to shoot people.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old vigilante.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the vigilante.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the armed teenage vigilante.
A 17-year-old vigilante, arguably a domestic terrorist, picked up a rifle, drove to a different state to shoot people.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a guy who's deeply racist, went with weapons to a Black Lives Matter protest looking to get in trouble. He did. He murdered a couple of people.
Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old kid, just running around, shooting and killing protesters.
You see the 17-year-old who was radicalized by Trumpism, took his AR-15 to Kenosha and became a killer.
A white, Trump-supporting, MAGA-loving, Blue Lives Matter social media partisan, 17 years old, picks up a gun, drives from one state to another with the intent to shoot people.
These people aren't just spreading fake news or lies. These are servants of Satan. The American people are supposed to be able to trust brand name news networks for accurate information and analysis. But all they do is spread pure lies and propaganda straight from the pit of hell.
Remember, the publicity surrounding this trial, there was a lot of a sympathetic media towards him. People who thought about him as essentially a bit of a martyr from this inflection point on racial tension in America. The idea of the amount of sort of GoFundMe-esque aids that came to his assistance.
Favorable coverage. Well, if that's favorable, I'd hate to see what happens when somebody gets on their bad side. Of course, Kyle bravely took the stand in his own defense, giving some very compelling and emotional testimony, perfectly fitting in with all the evidence. Someone else who took the stand, but committed perjury, although he'll never get charged for it, is Gage Groskreut's friend and roommate. After visiting his friend in the hospital, the guy who pulled his gun on Kyle Rittenhouse and got shot in the arm, he posted on social media saying that Gage told him that he wishes that he would have shot Kyle Rittenhouse before Kyle shot him. But when he was asked about this post, he said this.
He didn't say that to you?
He never said that to me.
You just posted something about your friend, your roommate, that was a lie?
I did.
This post right here is you equating something that Mr. Grosskreutz said to you.
I lied. He never said that. Those words have never came out of his mouth.
Of course, he's got to cover for his friend because if they admit that he planned on shooting Kyle Rittenhouse, then that'll just bolster Kyle's self-defense case, not to mention cause any lawsuits that I'm sure that they'll plan to file against Kyle to be thrown out. His buddy's now a meme after admitting that Kyle didn't shoot him until after he pointed his gun at Kyle's head. Here's the meme. It's about a restaurant. Kids 5 and under eat free. The dad says he's 5. The kid says, no, I'm 6. And then the dad facepalms, or in this case, that's the prosecuting attorney, literally facepalming after he admitted the truth. We did learn a few things during the trial, however. Joseph Rosenbaum, the poor man's Jeffrey Epstein, who chased down Kyle and tried to take his gun before getting shot, had threatened Kyle and another man earlier in the evening, saying that if he finds them later, that he's going to kill them. And he was brandishing a weapon earlier in the night, picking up a chain and swinging it around, threatening people. In fact, most of the witnesses the prosecution called accidentally ended up giving evidence for the defense before they even started putting on their case. And here's just a small sample of this clown show with the prosecutor, who is the assistant district attorney.
You, at some point as you get close to the 63rd Street car source, start running towards that lot, right?
Towards the fire that in the Duramax.
And Mr. Rosenbaum is running ahead of you, isn't he?
I don't believe so.
But you decided you needed to run because of the fire on the Duramax?
Yes.
Why? What was so urgent?
It was a fire.
Why did you feel that you should go around off the 59th Street car source property and put out fires?
To make sure my community didn't get burnt down and help.
And when you say your community, you mean Kenosha?
Yes.
Again, you're from Antioch. You're not living in Kenosha at this time when this all happens, right?
My dad lives in Kenosha.
And a friend of George Floyd's posted a video online saying that he knew of people who were in Kenosha to dox the jurors, to get their names, addresses, and take their photographs in order to intimidate them into declaring Kyle guilty. And then, what a surprise, somebody was discovered to have been stalking the jurors and was taking photos or videos of them, and police officers had to intervene to try to protect their anonymity. And remember, virtually every brand name social media personality and member of Congress were afraid to defend Kyle Rittenhouse until just a few days ago. And they wouldn't even denounce Facebook for censoring any posts showing that he acted in self-defense. Now they're all a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys, but never forget, they wouldn't speak out when it mattered most, even when all the evidence was clear and when Facebook was banning anybody who tried to post that evidence. Well, that was heavy. On a lighter note, the liberal media industrial complex is still upset at our favorite chant.
Look at just the "Let's Go Brandon" chant. I'm sorry,
Sure.
on the floor of the Congress. You know, I'm not going to be here Pollyannish, but on the floor of the United States House of Representatives, and people think this is just funny to do?
I do think it's funny, and I know 1.75 million others who do as well, my trusty YouTube subscribers. And if you haven't gotten one yet, I'm sure you want to order your very own Let's Go Brandon shirt. Get yours from my online store at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below, or get the embroidered Let's Go Brandon beanie, or both, or an Arrest Dr. Fauci shirt, a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.